Okay, these are the examples from one-step equations. So this is A, B, C, and D. We have 1 equals 9 plus n. We're trying to isolate the variable, which means get the letter to be by itself. So in order to do that, we have to identify the things that are the same on both sides of the equal sign. So we have 1 equals 9 plus n, trying to get the n by itself. So that means the 9 needs to be subtracted from itself, which is the inverse operation, which is the opposite operation. But what you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side. So 9 minus 9 is 0, so that cancels out, and 1 minus 9 is negative 8. And the n is left by itself, so the value of n is negative 8. Then we have n minus 19 equals negative 11. Trying to get the n by itself or isolate the variable. Since we have a subtracting of 19 or negative 19, you're going to do the opposite operation because we're trying to join the negative 19 with the negative 11. So we're going to add 19 to both sides of the equation. So this cancels out because negative 19 plus 19 is 0, leaving the n by itself. And a negative 11 plus 19 is positive 8. Then we have 190 equals negative 10x. So with this coefficient right here of negative 10x, we're not adding, we're not subtracting, we're multiplying. So the inverse operation to multiplication, or opposite operation to multiplication, is division. So since we are multiplying the x to negative 10, that means we're going to divide by negative 10, and you have to do it on both sides of the equal sign. So on this one, negative 10 divided by negative 10 is 1, so therefore it cancels out, leaving us with x on this side. And 190 divided by negative 10 is going to end up being negative 19. On letter D, so you were looking at, okay, what is happening with the side of the equation that has the variable? Well, with the m this time, so just coming back up here to look at what we've done, this one, we were adding 9 to n, so we subtracted 9. On this one, we were subtracting 19 from n, so we added 19. On letter C, we were multiplying by negative 10, so that means we're going to divide by negative 10. On letter D, we're dividing m by 5. So the opposite operation to division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equal sign by 5. So on this side, this cancels out, leaving me with m by itself. And 5 times 9 is 45. So basically on this one right here, since we were dividing by 5 on this side of the equation, that's why we multiplied both sides of the equal sign by 5, leaving us with 45. So on the next sheet, we have a little bit more going on. And this is what we have already been doing in 8th grade math. We've been doing this for several months. So this is not new for you. It's what we just did on the last paper, but several more steps involved. So the important thing is here is to identify on both sides of the equal sign the ones that are the same, that need to be joined up per se. So the 7n and the 3n, those are like terms. They're both coefficients. And then we have 13 and we have 1. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to start with the constants. And I'm going to do something that I feel like is a little bit easier. Instead of subtracting both sides by 13, I think it's going to be easier to subtract both sides by negative 1. By subtracting both sides by 1. And the reason I'm subtracting 1 is because this is a positive 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0, and that's what I want to happen. I want it to cancel out. So I'm going to subtract 1 over here as well. That goes away. 13 minus 1 is 12. So now my next step I'm gonna rewrite everyone. So my next step is to get the 7 in and the 3 in to join up. So listen, if I subtract 3 in over here and I subtract 3 in over here, I'm left with nothing over here. That would leave me with 0, and that's not what I want. So what I'm gonna move the 7 in. So when I move him, so since this is adding 7 in, we're gonna do the opposite operation, which is subtract, and we're gonna do that on both sides. So what I'm left with now is I have this negative 12 over here, and I have negative 4n over here. So now what we're looking at is multiplication. So the final step is going to be to divide both sides by negative 4. So this cancels out, and I'm left with n equals negative 12 divided by negative 4 is positive 3, and that's my final answer. Okay, it's probably starting to come back to you now. It's probably like, okay, I remember this now. So here we go again. So we have 3p and we have 2p. These guys are like terms. Negative 6 and negative 9. Those are like terms. So it doesn't matter which one of these that you choose, by the way, when you start out by adding or subtracting your constants, because I'm going to add 6. If you decided that you wanted to add 9 to both sides, at the very end, we're going to get the same answer. So that part doesn't really matter. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. That leaves me with negative 3. I'm going to go ahead and bring all this down. I like to rewrite my steps. I show all my work. So now we have 3p and 2p. Now all it does matter, if I was to subtract 3p, I'm going to end up with 0 on that side. I don't want 0 on that side. So since these guys are the guys that need to join up, I'm going to subtract 2p from both sides. That cancels out. This leaves me with 1p, which looks like this, and I have negative 3. So yay, one less step on that one. We like those. Okay, moving on to letter C. So I am going to add 2 to both sides of the equation. He cancels out. This is negative 2. I'm going to bring down my plus sign. I'm going to bring down my 8b. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. I'm going to bring down my 6b. Just like to rewrite everything. So again, we're not subtracting him. We're subtracting him. And we're subtracting because that's addition. And subtraction is the opposite operation. So I'm going to subtract 8b, 8b. There we go. That goes away. That leaves me with negative 2 equals negative 2b. And I'm left with one more step. My final step, since I'm multiplying by negative 2, I have to divide by negative 2 on both sides. He makes 1. And that leaves me with 1 over here. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. That makes 1, leaving the b by itself. Okay, one more. Okay, so this time I'm going to talk less and do more. So here we go. And there you go. If you need any more help, let me know.